Hey kids, I'm making chili today. This is the one that your dad used to call sneak attack chili because it's heat and sweet all in one pot. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what we've got prepped. Okay, first off, I've got a 12-quart stew pan here. I've got my spices out. Garlic powder, granulated, kosher sea salt. Then I've got some chili powder, this is red cayenne, some basil, some crushed red pepper, some bay leaves, and hot Mexican chili powder. And then for our ingredients, I have poblano peppers, a couple of jalapeno peppers, some garlic. This is some of the multicolored mini peppers. Back here I have 2 onions. I have another green pepper. I have some stewed tomatoes. This is something that I canned, but about a quart or so of stewed tomatoes, if you're picking, hopefully low salt, would be great. I have some honey, a pound of ground bison, and a pound of lean ground beef. But this is one of the things I want to show you here first. This is anasazi beans. I'll tell you that here in just a minute. I got 2 cups. This bean is a little bit better, in my opinion, than some like the kidney beans and such, because number one, they're higher in fiber, they're high in protein, and they're less gaseous than a lot of the other beans. So this is the one I prefer. I took a 2-cup measurement, and I put it in some water really early this morning and let them swell up. And as you can see, they've puffed up really big. They turn kind of pink from the burgundy. See their burgundy there? And see their pink here? That's what happens when you let them soak a little bit. They cook up really fast. So while this has been sitting here and waiting and not getting my meat thawed, I get everything else ready. So we're going to start to cook here in just a moment. Okay, so I put some avocado oil in the pan here and it's warming up. I put in a little test piece of garlic here that I coarsely chopped. This is what I did. I did a dice on the onions and a coarse chop on the garlic. And it looks like our oil is about hot enough for me. Oh, that's a good sound. It's always a good sound when you hear it sizzle. I'm going to put our onions in, a little bit of salt, and let that start to sweat before we add anything else. We'll let that cook now for a bit. Okay, so the onions have started to sweat, and they're changing translucent. And the next thing I'm going to add to it is going to be the bison and the ground beef, and let that start to saute. Oops. Let's see if we can do that better here. I got both pieces of meat into the pot, and I'm going to let them start to cook. And in the meantime, I'm going to start chopping all the rest of the vegetables up. But this is what it looks like so far. There's our ground beef there, and there's our bison. We're just going to break it up and let it start to cook kind of slow. I don't have this like on a medium heat. If it's an electric stove, mine's set on about a 4.5. And we're just going to let this start to slowly cook while we chop the rest of our vegetables up. Alrighty, so the beef is almost done. Not quite done, so I'm going to do some more seasoning to it. First thing I'm going to do is add about 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic. Put that in there. And about a 1/2 teaspoon. Now, size of this pot, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of dried basil. I'm going to stir that in. Of course, some of this seasoning, you know, when you guys were little, I made 2 pots of chili. One for your dad, one for me and you and the kids, because we didn't like it as hot. So my tastes have changed over the years, so this will be a little bit different. But the thing is, the seasonings are the same, with the exception of the chili peppers. You can add more to those or take them out if you don't like it that hot. But this will give you at least a basic understanding of how to make a good chili. Alrighty, so the meat is done. We're going to add all the peppers to it now. I want to show you how much got chopped up. Okay, that's our jalapenos, and I did use gloves again because of the oil in it. That is one of the 2 poblanos. I lost a little bit because part of it was bad. This is 2 small green peppers because I wanted a little bit more that we when it chopped up, it was not quite enough. And then, of course, our mini peppers. Now, you may say, okay, how come you're using these bowls? It's only because I'm lazy and I don't like measuring everything all the time. I'm a home cook. I'm not a professional chef, but this allows me to have about equal measurements. This is about a 2-cup bowl, so I know if I fill it up, I've got roughly 2 cups, and I can tell from this, that's about a cup. This is about a 1/4 cup, or half a cup or so. And it gives me some ballpark measurements without having to drag measuring cups out all the time. While the meat's been cooking, I've been culling beans. What I've found out is some of my beans, okay, maybe you can see the difference. Can you see the difference between that guy right there and that guy right there? Let me pull them out of here so we can take a better look at them there. Yeah, maybe I can get a hold of it here. Okay, see those guys right there? These guys plumped up. That one didn't. Listen to this. Can you hear that? That thing is not going to cook well. This is one of the things you got to watch out when you use dried beans. You're going to have to take and make sure that you pull out what they used to call stones or rocks out of it. These are just beans that are not going to cook up well. So I'm culling through them, taking these guys out, getting the good ones into my strainer over here. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and add all the rest of my peppers and things in here too. There they go. There's the jalapeños. There's the poblanos. There's the green peppers. And there's the little mini guys. We're going to let all that stuff start to cook. I'm going to add the beans here in just a moment, and then the tomatoes, and then start with adding my seasonings. And then we'll start letting that cook down a little bit. So in the pot, we got our beans now. We got our tomatoes. I put in a half quart more of additional water that you see over there. All the peppers are in there. This is 2 cups of the anasazi beans. And we're going to season now. Of course, this is to taste, and this is the way I like it. So I'm going to start off with about a half a teaspoon of baking powder, what they call a dash of cayenne. I'm going to add 2 bay leaves. 1, 2. Well, that's 2 because the one's only like a partial. This is a hot, they call it hot Mexican chili powder here. I'm going to add that in there. That was a 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm going to add some chili flakes, hot chili flakes, just a sprinkle or 2. And then we're going to start letting this just simmer. Again, this is to taste, so I'll be probably changing this up later on to suit our taste. I'm just going to let it cook now with a lid on the pot. Okay, kids, so this has been cooking for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours now. Real slow, just to get everything incorporated, get everything done. I've tasted it. I am starting now to season it the way I like it. So if you like it a little more spicy, you can. If you like it not so spicy, that's okay as well. And now we're going to get ready to add the honey. All right, so here we go. Now I'm just eyeballing this. This is, I'd say that is a generous 1/2 cup that we've just put in there. We're going to stir it in a little bit here. Have a chance to all those flavors marry, and then check it again and see if it's the way we like it, or if we need to add some more heat or some more sweet. Looks pretty good though. Check that out. Okay, kids, we're sticking a fork in this and calling it done. I've tested it and tasted it and seasoned it according to our liking. Like I said, you can add more chili powders or any more heat or sweet that you want, but I've got that seasoned just like we like it. So we're going to serve this up and have dinner. Hope you enjoy. Be blessed.